Fala galera, eu sou Igor Miranda e hoje o papo é com ninguém menos que Joe Lynn Turner, ex-vocalista do Rainbow, de Purple, de Yngwie Malmsteen, entre vários outros projetos aí. Essa entrevista foi conduzida novamente pelo querido amigo Marcelo Vieira, que já fez outras entrevistas aqui pelo canal, além de ter vários artigos publicados lá no igormiranda.com.br. E o papo está bem diverso, porque a gente abordou, é claro, o novo álbum do Turner, Belly of the Beast, marca uma nova fase na carreira do músico, não só em termos artísticos, né, de sonoridade, com uma pegada mais pesada, como também em aspecto visual, né? O Joe finalmente abandonou as perucas que ele utilizava, assumiu o visual real dele, né? Ele sofre de alopecia desde a juventude, então é uma nova fase do geral do Joe Lynn Turner. Mas o papo não ficou só nisso, a gente abordou também vários temas relacionados à carreira do Joe, a passagem dele pelo Rainbow, o trabalho com o Yngwie Malmsteen, ele revela várias curiosidades sobre esses períodos, fala bastante sobre o Rich Blackmore, enfim, o papo está bem legal. Mas antes da gente seguir para a entrevista em si, eu preciso só fazer um alerta porque algumas das declarações do Joe durante essa entrevista sobre pandemia, sobre política mundial, elas não devem ser tomadas como verdade. São opiniões de Joe e são opiniões que inclusive esbarram em teorias da conspiração. Não tem comprovação, muitas das coisas que ele diz. Então fica aquela dica que não serve só para Joe Lynn Turner, como para vários outros músicos. Na hora de tomar as suas posições, não confie no que um rockstar diz. Sempre pesquise em fontes confiáveis, sempre pesquise de forma múltipla, variada, várias fontes, para poder construir a sua opinião. E tome muito cuidado, obviamente, com teorias da conspiração e outras informações enganosas. Recado dado, é isso. Vamos seguir para a entrevista. Se liga!
When I first listened to the Belly of the Beast album, I thought this is an emancipation record. It's as if you, at this point in your career, are breaking some chains. The wig issue, the style issue, it's much heavier than any other album you've sung on.
Yeah.
Was making a record like this already in your plans?
Yes. I've been wanting to make a record like this for a long time. I realized that this is a departure from what most people know me as, but I got so tired of the fact that people saying, well, he's just, a pop singer or a melodic rock singer or the love song singer. And this isn't true. My styles are very varied. And I always wanted to make a much heavier record, but I wanted always to keep melodic. I love melody. So when I met Peter Tatgren and we decided to make a bridge between industrial metal and melodic hard rock, we wanted to make a melodic metal record. And we wanted to stay true on this road, just right in the middle, not too industrial, not too hard rock, but right in the middle. And I think we accomplished that. So yes, it is an emancipation. It is breaking the chains from the ghosts of the past, shall we say.
How challenging it was to open up in that way at this point in your career, both in form and in content?
Well, in form, not a problem at all, because I was so ready for it. I have done similar, when I say similar, not as heavy, but if you look on my solo albums, there have been similar like themes and songs, because as one fan said it, he said, Joe's been doing this a long time. It's just that he didn't do it all in one album. because what I mean by that is if you look at, for example, the Slam album, songs like Evil, Eye for an Eye, you know, Cover Up, these things, or you look at Holy Man with Babylon, there's many, many songs throughout my catalog that touch upon it, but now it's all in one place. The world situation gave me a lot of subject matter, and also personally, what I've been through for the last 5 years or more, this also was subject matter. So you have a geopolitical situation and you have a very introspective personal situation. And that's what the subject matter on this album is about.
The title track, Belly of the Beast, sounds like your overview of the world during the pandemic. In my understanding, the belly of the beast is planet Earth. Am I right?
It is, yes. I think you are right. The system. We are in the belly of the system, the beast system.
You talk about mind manipulation, and there's a verse that says you have lost your freedom, you might lose your life. Yes. For you, was the pandemic more a collective hysteria than a global health crisis? I mean, for you, was there an exaggeration in the measures imposed to combat the disease?
Well, I think that now there are many reports. There is much data out there now about the adverse effects of the vaccination. There's much information about the plandemic as opposed to the pandemic. There's a lot of information about where it really came from, how it came about, where was the money coming from this. A lot of things have opened up since the actual pandemic happened, and I think the truth is coming out more and more. And I think the people around the world are starting to wake up more and more, and are starting to, as in one of my songs, rise up more and more, and realizing that this is an attempt at absolute tyranny, at authoritarianism, about enslavement. This great reset is really nothing more than the New World Order disguised in a new name. It's been happening from the beginning of time, since, say, like the Romans. They tried to do this, but humanity prevailed and broke the chains that the governments had tried to put on people. I really believe you have something very similar happening right now in your country. I've been following it very closely, and power to the people. And I believe with God on their side, people will prevail. This has been happening in the United States and in just about every country in the world. Fixed elections and tyrannical governments and enslavement of people. They're trying to starve us economically, energy, you name it. Look around. Yeah. No one can say that this is not happening. No one. The facts are here. And when I was writing this, it's because I'm a very observant, resourceful, and educated individual. I have been studying this stuff for many years, whether it's occultism, Hermeticism, special secret societies, constitutions, laws, you name it. It's one of my biggest passions. So I saw this coming a while ago. I wrote Black Sun, which is basically Illuminati, which they tried to make you think is a conspiracy theory. Oh, while I'm telling you this, do you know the difference? This is a joke. The difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 6 months. That's all it takes. Because then the conspiracy theories become truth, because this is what's been happening all along. The people who know are still fighting this. What I'm trying to say here is, I've known about something like this happening. And I wrote, say, Black Sun, Don't Fear the Dark, and Tortured Soul before this happened, for maybe 2 or 3 different reasons. But Black Sun was definitely about, here we come. They were coming for us. Mm-hmm. This has been predicted in the book of Revelations in the Bible. And I'm not saying I'm religious. I'm saying the Bible as well is a very historical book, and it's a very prophetic book. And many, many things in the Bible have been prophesied and have been true, including the beast system, including the mark of the beast, which is what they want to do now with the chips, and what they want to do now with the passport IDs, the identification, which they want to do now with your money in your bank. They want to make a crypto, not a crypto, but a currency that is just like China, where they can tell where every single peso, every dollar, everything is going. This is control of your life, man. This is what's happening to us right now on the planet. And if we don't rise up as a people and realize we have the control, because a mass psychosis has happened to the people. If you read, I can count many, many different psychologists, who have said what mass psychosis is. And if we have not been under a mass psychosis, I can't tell you. That is the absolute truth. From so many great philosophers and psychologists, from Freud to Jung, all these people have talked about mass psychosis. And it is exactly what it feels like the world is under right now, because the compliance and everybody just accepting what authority tells them to do out of fear. And fear is the great motivator. You see, this is one of the biggest control mechanisms that they can use is fear. It's the number one. Fear of death, fear of poverty, fear of disease, fear of criticism. There are Napoleon Hill, in his interview with the devil, which is basically fictional but very, very educational, he lists the types of fears that Satan himself says how he controls people. And this is the biggest one of them. And remember, the only real prison is fear. And the only real freedom is freedom from fear. Many people will do everything when they are afraid. And that is what they created. The mass media is just as much to blame. They are in collaboration with the cabals, absolutely, with the big corporations, big pharma, et cetera, et cetera. And nobody's going to tell me, as you look around the world right now, so as you look around, and you will see the same things happening in every country, to the leaders, to the elections, to the people, the conditions, what they are putting them under. Okay? Mm-hmm. You think this is circumstance? No, this is synchronicity. This is purposeful. Okay? I mean, it's very plain to see. Anyone with one brain cell can understand this. So I know I'm going on a bit about this, but this is what I absolutely believe to know for a fact.
And I'm thankful you're sharing your beliefs with me.
No, it's my purpose to share my beliefs with you, because God gave me a voice. And on this album, and through the last 5-6 years of my own personal struggles and my own finding my own purpose and my own transformation, both physically and spiritually, I have to speak the truth. I have to. It's not just my truth. It's our truth. Okay? And I believe in people. I believe in humanity, but it's very dangerous. it's very dangerous right now because I don't see enough realization of this because the people have been controlled so badly and put fear into their hearts, into their minds. That's where it all starts, is in your mind. And once you are afraid here, the devil has you, and they are.
And how has the response to the album Belly of the Beast been so far? Do you feel that with it you are reaching a different audience than the usual?
It's been amazing. Honest to God, it's been amazing. I've received, as far as I can tell, 110% positive reactions to this album. People, the love, support, and compassion that people have given me, not only with the album side of my transformation, but also the physical side of my transformation. They were amazing. Honestly, it even surprised me. I was ready to go out and just take whatever, okay, let's see what happens, let's see what is said. But it's been overwhelmingly positive, and I couldn't be more thankful and have so much love and support from them. I really, really appreciate it so much. So it's doing very well. It's the album's only been out less than a month, and we're gaining in the record, in the radio charts, in the sales charts. We're doing well on the streaming. I mean, it's just starting to catch on fire. It takes a while for people to realize this, especially in the arena of this business today, because the business is not like the old days. It's a different business, but it's catching fire. And the record company is very satisfied so far. I personally am satisfied. Peter's great with it. It has to build. And with people like you who are helping it get the word out, it's going to build magnificently. I really believe that.
On the other hand, do you feel that this heavier approach might make some long-time melodic fans reject the new Joe Lynn Turner?
Yes, of course, there have been some comments like that. You know, oh, I prefer the old stuff, you know, and I don't like this kind of new sound. And well, let me say this, you know, an artist has to grow, an artist has to change, a real artist. Otherwise, he surrenders to being repetitive. He just repeats himself and repeats himself. And that is very dangerous, not only for the public, but also for the artist. Because then you will become very comfortable. And I basically repeated myself until I stopped doing just about almost everything for the last 6 years, except for a couple of tracks here, maybe with someone like Michael Schenker or here and there, you know, like a track here or a track there. But I waited to put out a solo album simply because I wanted to transform completely. And I know I'm taking a chance. And I know I'm at an older age right now, but I feel younger, I feel vitalized, and I feel purposeful. And I'm very, very driven and motivated. So yeah, you will always lose some people, but I think you will gain more. I really do.
I said new Joe Lynn Turner without even knowing if Belly of the Beast will have a chapter 2, if you and Peter are going to re-edit the partnership. Anyway, is it in the plans?
Not necessarily. Peter just got off tour maybe a few days ago. I give him a few days to rest, you know, then we're going to talk on the phone and just go over a few things. But we're making no promises about anything, because I realized one thing in life, you know, promises are difficult things to make, whether it's love or creativity. Very difficult things to make. It's tough to keep promises. So what we're doing is we're seeing how things go, where they go. I may be a different person in a year and a half from now, or maybe him. We just don't know. It's not about the album being successful, because for us, it's already a success. Before we had a record deal, it was a success. We saw our vision of making a modern melodic metal album, and we accomplished that. Not only with the music, but with the message. And when we looked at each other this way, we said, you know, we have a tiger by the tail here. We don't know. It can go a couple of ways, but we did what we set out to do.
Are we going
That,
to
my
have,
friend,
are we going to have Belly of the Beast on the road?
I want it. Absolutely. I'm in the process now of picking up some very major agencies. I certainly hope I'm accepted by at least one of them. I know one in particular, but I can't mention it. But absolutely. Now, my only problem here is personal. Will the world exist in 23? What's going to happen to us? You must ask yourself, my friend. You have seen so many bands cancel. You have seen so many promoters cancel. Money is tight. Economy is in the toilet right now for people. We need, because I've had friends call me up, very notable friends call me up and say, we just got canceled 10 dates. I go, why? They go, the promoters don't have the money for the venue, for the insurance, for the security, for the deposits. What are you supposed to do? He says, then the ticket sales. The ticket sales aren't what they're supposed to be because nobody has any extra money. It's either going to be feed themselves or go to a concert. Between life and a concert is a big thing. What I'm trying to tell you is there's no disposable money right now. And yes, some people will be able to go to shows. And of course, right now it looks very good because, you know, we have the stadium tour, you know, with Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and all of this, and Kiss running around. But this was just before they pushed the hammer down again. Right now, if you look at the G20, you understand what I'm talking about, the conference? You look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the passports again for the new pandemic that they're preparing for. How do they know there's going to be another pandemic? They know? Of course they know. They're going to try to pull this on the people. And they're going to try to make a passport so that you're not allowed to travel without that ID, which is the beast. The mark on the hand or the forehead, that's the beast, okay? That's the mark of the beast. Here we go again. Who knows where the world's going to be at this point? I'm praying to God that this does not happen, that we wake up beforehand, that we rise up and we fight back. But I don't know where it's going to be, Marcelo, and neither do you.
So we talk a little bit about the past now. Next year, Odyssey completes 35 years of release. While we all know the heartache that went into working with Yngwie Malmsteen, what do you think of this album and your performance on it in particular?
Odyssey?
Yeah.
I think it's one of our best, his and my best work. I really do. I think song-wise, very strong. Production-wise, very strong. Performance-wise, very strong. For Yngwie and myself. I love this album. And I think, again, recording it was, in my opinion, one of the highlights of my career. And I think we tried to push each other a lot to reach higher ground. So for me, I believe Yngwie played very melodic on this record. His solos were really exceptional, in my opinion. And I did the job that I was hired to do by Polygram. They wanted Yngwie originally. They came to me and said, "Can you do what you did to Rainbow? You made them have some chart success." Yngwie's a brilliant guitar player, but he can't get on the charts. Make some commercial songs. And that's what I did with Heaven Tonight. But yet, we kept the integrity of the metal side of it. We kept the heavy side of it with Riot in the Dungeons and Deja Vu, Crystal Ball, I can go on and on,
Mhm.
So there was integrity on the record, but actually we could play Heaven Tonight on the radio, and that was chart success. Dreaming, beautiful ballad, absolutely.
The Odyssey tour took you to the former Soviet Union. You stayed there for a month and played around 20 concerts in sold-out stadiums, even recording a live
22.
album. What do you
Yeah.
remember about this
We
tour?
played 22 shows, 11 in Moscow.
Was it a big culture shock when you arrived there?
Well, yes, absolutely. This is also one of the experiences that changed my life. I've been pretty much every place else, but when you went to the actual Soviet Union, which it was back then, there was no place like it. Okay. And we experienced some very shocking things, good and bad. Again, for me, it was an unforgettable experience, life experience, a learning experience. But we had over 20,000 people a night for 11 nights in Moscow and 11 nights in Leningrad. It was then Leningrad, St. Petersburg. And the people from grandmothers to children to the fathers, the mothers, everybody came. Everybody came. And it was fantastic. The reaction was unbelievable. And the culture shock was, all I could say, was extremely dynamic. I learned so much through laughter and tears while I was there, literally. So many things that I think this is, again, a great lesson for people, because I always believe that you can only learn, they call it education in school. I call it indoctrination more than education. The best education is to travel, Marcelo. Travel. See different people, see different cultures, break bread with them, drink with them, eat with them, kiss their children. This is where you really learn about life, okay? The same way when I came to Brazil, I loved it. I still love it. I love the culture, the people, the music, the beaches, of course. I've been to Manaus. I've been pretty much many places there. And that's how you learn. That's how you have the experience that makes you a rounded person. When you stay in one place, how much can you know?
Yeah.
You can only know what you see around you. And many people, unfortunately, do not have the opportunity. I understand that. I'm very fortunate. And people like me are very fortunate. But you must learn from these experiences. You must take the world. It's very small, the world, very small. It's not so big. And the people, I learned one thing. They're all the same. You know what they want? The same things. They want a decent life. They want maybe a wife, a child or two, a house, some food, a few cervezas, some food. Come on, man. It's very simple. We're not that complicated as a race, a human beings. They all want the same thing. They have dreams, disappointments, hopes. And why are we? Who makes us fight? The governments. They're the ones who divide us. The people do not divide each other. Black, white, yellow, green, it does not matter. We're all the same. We all bleed red. I know that for a fact. So you learn this kind of stuff when I went over there, and they were communists. Okay, there's no communism anymore in Russia. It's Russia. People are under the wrong impression about a lot of things that are happening there right now, because they have been propagandized. The propaganda from the media just keeps spewing out the bullshit. And you know what? The truth will come out. The truth will come out. I heard some people call them communists. It's laughable. They haven't been communistic in years. If anything, they're a socialist, semi-fascist state. They like capitalism. I've been there since many times. I've met the politicians. Absolutely. And you know what? It's all about economy and money. And and what a shame. I mean, while Europe is suffering now because of this war, which is terrible. War is terrible. I'm not on any. I'm only on the side of peace. There should have been peace a long time ago. But there are many people that want war, and they know who they are, and we know who they are.
Yeah.
Okay, they because of the military-industrial complex with the money that it provides them. So you can't bullshit a bullshitter, man. I saw this. I've learned this. I know what's happening. And what I want people to understand, mostly my mission, my purpose, is to open their eyes, to open their hearts, and to realize, get the truth. Don't parrot what your television presenters are saying. Look it up. Find the truth. Because why would you believe somebody? Once you believe somebody who says on the news tonight, blah, 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 you're making a conclusion. No, no, no. Don't make a conclusion from what they say. Make a suspicion and find out what your conclusion should be when you find out the truth. I'm too educated to believe that shit. Sorry for my words, but
No, man.
rock and roll, man, rock and roll used to be outlaws. We used to be rebels. We used to be the outsiders. And now we all comply. Everybody's going for the corporate money. Everybody's doing what the corporations say. Nobody's talking about this like me. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well,
Why? What happened? Frightening.
well, another record that has an important anniversary next year is Rainbow's Band Out of Shape, 40 years. Rich Blackmore recently said that Street of Dreams is the definitive Rainbow song. Do you agree with him?
It's mine. That's for sure. It's a very spiritual song. That song has very, very personal feelings to me because it's about reincarnation. And reincarnation is something I've always believed in. I believe that we are spirits in a material body, and we've all been here before, and we'll probably be here again as a cycle, right? In the soul, the alma. And that song was written about a woman I had never seen, but a face in my dreams that was haunting me. And 22 years later, I met her. And we are still married today. And that, I said, God, that is the truth. That is the truth.
If so you were, do you think if you weren't for the millionaire proposal to reunite Deep Purple, do you believe that Rainbow would have recorded more albums and lasted longer?
I believe that Richie and I had a very big chemistry. There's no denying. Even when he was the motivating factor to get me into Deep Purple as well, because we have a chemistry. He finds it easy. Richie loves to write for melody. He loves melody and he loves songs because his ear has always provided him the song content. So that's his number one, shall we say, motivation, is songs. And I think we always had that chemistry of good songs. No matter if you like one or another one better, we don't have bad songs. All the albums we ever did together, you have to say, at least shake your head and say, yeah, there's not really one bad song.
I completely agree.
Maybe some favorites. Right, thank you. There's maybe some favorites, but not a bad song or a bad album. And I think our performances were there to show it too. So we had a good chemistry. So yeah, I read that in a review actually, or an article rather, that he said Street of Dreams was his favorite song. And I also heard that Slaves and Masters was one of his favorite Purple albums. It just came out at the wrong time when you had the fan clubs. We want Gillan, you know, or we want Dio, or we want, you know. And I realized then, Marcelo, that people are afraid of the change. They're afraid of change. What I say is, look, so many people have come through Rainbow and Deep Purple. The lineups, incredible, you know. So people should really listen to the music. They shouldn't be arguing about, you know, well, I want this Mark IV and I want this and I want that guy. And it's not about that. Okay, sometimes it changes. Sometimes the past is gone. And sometimes the past can catch up with the future. Look, take everything on its own value. That's the only way you can judge. If it's a good record, it's a good record.
I have one last question for this interview. I would like to know, what was the most valuable lesson you learned in your career?
To be yourself. I think the most important thing anyone can do in any career, no matter what, is to be themselves. Don't copy, because copy, they're already, for example, there's already an original, you know. You can take any artist or, you know, but you can emulate them. You like their voice, you like their guitar playing, you like the acting, whatever it may be, the painting, whatever it may be you like about them. Emulate them, but do not copy, because copying, we already have one of those. What people, I think, the audience really enjoys is originality. For example, it took me a while to become myself, possibly right up until this conversation we're having today. Okay, I'm still becoming myself. But once Roger Glover said the best thing that I think anyone has ever said about me in an interview, and he said, Joe Lynn Turner has found his own voice. And I was stunned, because I said, you know, he's right. This is how I sing. Yes, I have my roots, I have my influences, I have my emulations, but this is how I sing. In every genre, you name it, I can go from sweet to heavy, as you've obviously seen and heard. But this is my voice. This is who I am, okay? And that was the most important thing anyone's ever said about me, because it's true. And this is what I try to tell the guys coming up, you know? I say, no, yeah, okay, it's okay to copy, because copying is the greatest form, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. That means you really love the singer or you love the guitar player. But copy him and then forget it and play yourself through all that. Sing yourself through it. That's the influence, but that's not you. Use that influence to project who you are. Make it come out your way. You're writing, the same thing. Whatever it is you're doing, no matter what it is. So be yourself. And I think that's the most important lesson I've learned in life. Not only my career, but in life.